Hi everybody, this is Sheila Aliens. Today is May 28th, 2012. This is something I just wanted to point out. Reasons to keep your children out of public schools. Plenty of reasons every week. In the news, you'll often see that this happens on field trips and stuff like that, and I'm going to go over some of those recent events. I'm at hazmat.globalincidentmap.com, and I do have the site owner's blessings and all that. They have contacted me and thanked me for showing their map to people. You can just go to hazmat.globalincidentmap.com, and when you get there, click here, and it brings up like a rolling ticker of the latest stuff. And this is just about a week's worth of stuff. May 25th, Minaloa, Florida. Hazmat called after kids exposed to pesticide on bus. Then you can right click it, open it in a new tab, and it'll give you a link to the news story and all that, and there's usually a video. 27 children and adults said they weren't feeling well on a school bus. Again in Florida, Lauderdale Lakes, Florida. Lauderdale Lakes Middle School locked down temporarily after a rash breakout. Yeah, we're gonna lock down the school for a rash breakout. You'd think that they would just send everybody home. I mean, I don't know why they would do that, but they probably have their stupid reasons. That was on the 23rd of May, and people did go to the hospital that time as well, students and teachers. On the 22nd of May, Monroe Township, New Jersey. Fumes at a St. Mary school in Monroe Township send students home. Fumes. Oftentimes it's just a mystery fume and nobody knows what it is. They test the air and nothing can be found. But people are getting sick. Kids are getting sick. Strange odor prompts school evacuation, May 21st. Williamstown, Pennsylvania. And there you have it. It's just about a week's worth of reports right there. And that's not even, all the reasons that I would give you for putting your kids in some other type of schooling situation, because it's obviously not safe for them. And some of the states that I would really be worried about is Colorado, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Ohio, Texas, Michigan, and Florida. Those ones have like the most incidents that I've seen just offhand. But really, it doesn't seem like any place is immune to this. As for the incidents that don't seem to have been mapped at the Hazmat Global Incident Map, we have on May the 25th, propane smell investigated after 11 Newt students feel ill. And you gotta love how they don't bother putting what state that is, and the header for their website doesn't say, what state they're covering. Okay? Newt, where the hell is that? New Hampshire. Thank you, Google. So in New Hampshire on May 25th, 11 students reported feeling sick at Newt School Thursday morning. So that was the 24th, as the fire department was investigating reports of propane smell coming from the middle school wing. Fire Captain Tyler something said that no hazardous gases were found at the school, and students were safe to go back to class. No hazardous gases found. Students safe to go back to class. It's obviously hazardous if they're sick. How can you say it's safe if you haven't found what's making them sick? That just means they're not safe. And it just means you don't know what the frick you're doing, and you're endangering these kids' lives. Look at this. The initial call to the fire department was made at 9:11 a.m. I know we're like all conspiracy theorists, but that's just weird. 9:11 a.m. with reports of a smell of propane coming from the middle school wing. They took readings of the school, and after no hazards were found, they realized that they didn't know how to do their job, and they shut down the school to be more thoroughly investigated and cleaned. Oh wait, that's not what happened. The scene was cleared shortly after 9:30 a.m. But by 10:54 a.m., another call came in from the school reporting students complaining of headaches and feeling nauseous. Again, the fire department responded to the school, found no hazardous gases, or the 11 children who reported feeling sick. Well, what the hell? They didn't find any hazardous gases or the 11 children that reported feeling sick. Where were the kids? Who called in to the fire department to report it? I'm assuming it was a teacher, otherwise they wouldn't come out if it was just some random prank call. So where the hell were those 11 kids? What the hell does that mean? Whatever. Blah blah blah, ventilation systems maybe, blah blah blah, we don't know what we're doing, blah blah blah. And this is within the last week. A suspected case of tuberculosis at an Indiana middle school has health officials preparing to test up to 1,000 students and school employees for the disease. The parents of Woodrow Wilson Middle School students were notified by phone calls Monday about the illness. But Vigo County health officials wouldn't disclose whether a sick person was a student or an employee. They always screw the parents too. They take their kids, lock them down, and they don't tell the parents what's going on. It's terrible when these kinds of incidents happen. They're going to administer skin tests to detect tuberculosis. The county health administrator said the ill person is no longer at the school. Of course they're not. It's important to the school corporation and the health department to capture and test the students while they are still in school, she said. Wow, poor choice of words if you ask me. Capture and test the students. Of course. Bullshit. The testing was set for next week so that school officials would have time for parents to return consent forms and so that the health department could obtain supplies. May 25th. Bryan Adams High students exposed to tuberculosis. Huh. Some students at Bryan Adams High School in Dallas may have been exposed to tuberculosis. Health officials said a sick student who attends the school was recently brought to Children's Medical Center, and that student has the suspected case of tuberculosis. The school will be sending letters home with students and their families with information about what's happening and when testing will be available. Are they going to capture the kids too at that school? On Tuesday, the health department plans to conduct skin tests on the people who have come in direct contact with the sick student. Officials will follow up with results on Thursday. Isn't that shady? This is happening in Indiana and Texas 3 days apart from each other. And it's shady, if you ask me. But this was posted on May 24th out of Roslyn Station, Virginia. 3 students were treated and released from Virginia Hospital Center late Thursday after they and members of their tour group showed symptoms of dehydration. A large tour group of students and their chaperones from Texas spent the day in Washington, D.C., and Thursday night began feeling sick. So this is a group of kids from Texas coming to Washington, D.C. for a field trip, and some of them got sick while they were there. One of the teens vomited, and they're blaming it on simple dehydration. So think what you want about that. Some or any of these incidents may not be related at all, of course. I'm just mentioning what I've come across in the news, and make of it what you will. And this is one that's a little bit older, but it did happen this month, earlier in May. Dozens of Bell Elementary School students became sick while visiting the Tulsa jail. This is in Oklahoma, and parents didn't quite know what to think, of course. They really didn't tell us much about it. When I was getting off of work, the school called and said they had an emergency. This woman says it wasn't until she was sent to the medical center to pick up her daughter that she was told students had likely been exposed to higher than normal levels of carbon monoxide. So they got sick at the jail, but the inmates didn't get sick? I mean, what's up with that? In all, 38 people, including 30 students, were transported to local hospitals. 38 people, 30 students, sent to the hospital, Tulsa, Oklahoma, around May 12th. See, really, there's too many of these incidents happening for me to keep up with. I mean, if I do it, I have to do it all at once like this. As many of us know, earlier this year, there was all that news about the girls from New York who were all in high school at the same school who started showing Tourette's-like symptoms. And it's a big mystery, and I'm not sure exactly what became of that story. I know Aaron Brockovich took on their case, but the media went silent on that. I'll have to look into that to see if they ever solved it. A lot of people thought it was Gardasil that did it to them, and it would kind of make sense. I mean, it's all girls. Well, it seems something very similar is happening to a group of girls in San Antonio, Texas. They all go to the same high school together. They're all coming down with some kind of strange, mysterious illness. Athletic, active teenage girls who excel in school are not who you would expect to fall victim to a debilitating and difficult to diagnose illness. But this is what's happening to a group of mostly girls on the north side of San Antonio. Mostly girls, This was posted, by the way, on May 15th, 2012. She never had headaches. She was never sick or went to the doctor. In April 2009, she started having severe migraines. She was having seizure-like activity, but it wasn't epileptic. These girls are also experiencing chronic fatigue, nausea, dizzy spells, causing blackouts, and stomach problems. And of course, some of the doctors are accusing the girls of faking it. I don't know if it has to do with the school in that case, or if it's the Gardasil. I don't know. Just to be safe, I'd still take my kid out of that school. While I was researching to make this video, I came across a vintage news clip about Gardasil making kids sick. I found it on Google Video, if you remember that from before they bought YouTube. They had their own little video section. And let's take a look. This is from 5 years ago. And I'll leave you guys with that. Thank you so much for watching. Much love. Bye. Yeah.
Collapsed after being given the cervical cancer vaccine Gardasil. Health authorities are urging parents to stay calm, insisting the drug, which is being offered to students in WA, is safe.
Brooke Levi thought the Gardasil shot she had on Friday at Engadine High was going to protect her. But now she blames the cervical cancer vaccine for a bad reaction.
I want to pass out and just throw up and just go to sleep.
Brooke ended up at Sutherland Hospital. 2 weeks ago, Melbourne student Natasha D'Souza also felt unwell after being vaccinated.
I actually wasn't looking too good and I was looking a bit green in the face. And then I just basically collapsed about 5 minutes into class.
Natasha says her arms and legs were paralysed and she couldn't speak. She wasn't the only girl to have the jab, then fall sick.
Yeah, there were girls dropping like flies, basically.
Medical authorities have declared the reactions aren't linked to Gardasil. They've blamed fear of needles.
The after effects are very, very rarely serious, and the benefits of the vaccination are very, very important.
There's no reason to stop the vaccination program. The vaccines have been thoroughly tested both in Australia and overseas and have been found to be extraordinarily safe.
70,000 Gardasil vaccinations have been administered since the drug's approval last year. Full protection against the virus that causes cervical cancer requires follow-up shots, but many girls aren't keen to chance it.
I don't want to after going through this.
Damien Smith, 7.